Hello, mages all over the world. Welcome in Kaldheim, the land where the Sagas tells about our gods, and the runes will show you your path, and finally you decide whether you are true warrior or not, because your destiny is already written. Today we will check top 15 of cards that will be played the most. There will be definitely a lot of new decks like giants, elves, berserkers, angels, and all kind of decks where will be great cards and the cards that will definitely fit to these decks. But today I chose cards that will fit into already existing decks or into basically all the decks we will know. Let's go. Rise the Drugger. Choose one. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand, or return two target creature cards that share a creature type from your graveyard to your hand. It's absolutely amazing return from the graveyard card that will definitely benefit the rogues even most, since the rogues got all their creature with flash. It means that you can easily return almost all your creatures in instant speed to battlefield. Battlefield Raptor, flying first strike. 2 toughness is absolutely amazing against all the aggro decks and all their 1/1s. And in white aggro deck, this card will be devastating because we are throwing counters all over our creatures, and we could end up with 5-6 flying first strike, and it's gonna be really beastie boy. Frostbite. Frostbite deals 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If you control 3 or more snow permanents, it deals 3 damage instead. Since we could play only snow mountains and small snowlands, we basically are given a modern lightning bolt. It's a little bit uh, not as strong as lightning bolt because we cannot target player, but it's still instant speed, 1 mana, 3 damage to planeswalker or creature. So it's as close as we could get. Withern Thronestone. Non-land permanent card in graveyard and libraries cannot enter the battlefield. Players can't cast spell from graveyard or libraries. It's basically the same as the cage before rotation, but since we don't have cage available, we could use the Runestone. It will shut down all the ultimatum decks and all the rogue decks and their returning creatures from the graveyard or the sacrifice decks or the escape cards. It could really help us with playing. It should be definitely sideboard cards for best of 3 players. We got a lot of great sagas. As I mentioned earlier, there will be a lot of sagas for giants, for berserkers, for angels, which means it's gonna fit into specific decks. And I will mention the sagas that will most likely fit into all decks of those colors. First is Binding the Old Gods, destroy target non-land permanent and opponent controls. Search your library for a forest card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. Number 3, creatures you control gain death touch until end of the turn. It's absolutely great saga because we could destroy non-land permanent. It could be anything, artifact, enchantments, or creature, anything. We got some ramp with form of forest, and all our creatures gain death touch, which could also be like board wipe. Great saga. Arnie slays the troll. Target creature you control fights up to one target creature you don't control. Add 1 red mana, put 2 1/1 counters on up to one target creature you control. You gain life equal to the greatest power among creatures you control. It's just for 2 mana, removal, ramp, some counters, and gain life. Cool card for Gruul. Gruul! Doomscar, destroy all creature with foretell. Foretell means you can pay 2 and take this card aside, and then turn later pay 3 and use this card. It means that it's 1 turn quicker than Shatter the Sky. Turn 2 you can pay foretell price, and turn 3 you pay 3 and destroy all creature. It's awesome against aggro decks because you can destroy all the creatures turn 3, then turn 4 with Shatter the Sky, and then use it again turn 5 for the full price. It means no creatures allowed. Absolutely great removal. Mystic Reflection. Choose target non-legendary creature. The next time 1 or more creatures or planeswalkers enter the battlefield this turn, they enter a copy of the chosen creature. Again, it got foretell for 1. I have to admit, I really don't know how this will work. There is nothing about a specification of the creature you will choose. It could be basically anything, or it could be only creatures in your deck, or I don't know. You could maybe tell Dream Thrower even if you don't have any Dream Thrower in your deck, and then play some 1/1 and became Dream Thrower at turn 3 when you got 1/1 for 1. So I'm definitely looking forward to play this card and find out how it works. But as I mentioned, it could be Dream Thrower turn 3. We will see. The World 3. The World 3 enter the battlefield tapped. It gives you green mana as long as you control 6 or more lands. Lands you control have, when you tap it, add 1 mana of any color. This is something absolutely busted. It's amazing for any commander deck, maybe even in standard, historic, or multiple color decks will be amazing. It got something special, but as I see it, it could definitely end up right here. For all those mana, you can sacrifice the World 3, search your library for any number of god cards, put them onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. It's basically a bonus win con of all decks when you got some gods in it. But as I mentioned, be able to pay your mana as the land got any color. It's really busted. Cosmos Elixir. Another busted card, something what white was missing a long time. At the beginning of your end step, draw a card if your life total is greater than your starting life total. Otherwise, you gain 2 life. So when you don't have more life than you had at the beginning, you are gaining life. And when you do, you are drawing extra card every turn. Imagine the scenario where you drawing 2 cards, dropping angels from Speaker of the Heaven, and absolutely destroy your opponent with aggro and life. White always sucked in drawing cards, and this card will help us to fix it. White will rock. In Search of Greatness. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may cast a permanent spell from your hand with converted mana cost equal to 1 plus the highest converted mana cost among other permanents you control without paying its mana cost if you don't scry. So this is really curve sensitive. You have to have specific cards with specific mana cost because it's not 1 plus or lower. It's specific 1 plus the highest converted mana cost, and it's other than permanents you control, which means In Search of Greatness probably won't count, and still it could be really busted. It's basically cheating on mana. We saw cards like this. Fires of Invention, it needed to be banned. So I'm pretty sure someone could create the deck where this card will definitely dominate and will be throwing really huge beast for free and still got a lot of mana for great henges and all the nonsense we could have in green. I will definitely try to build some deck with this card. Tybalt's Trickery, another nonsense. Red counter target spell. Choose 1, 2, or 3 at random. Its controllers mill that many cards, then exile cards from the top of their library until they exile a non-land card with a different name than that spell. They may cast that card without playing its mana cost. Then they put that exiled cards on the bottom of their library in random order. What should I tell? It's counterspell for 2. It could easily win you games, especially when you are red. You throwing your quick creatures to the battlefield, you got 3 or 4 creatures. Your opponent has 10 life, and then the board wipe will come. But no, we got counterspell and all our creature will survive. Instead of board wipe, our opponent can play something different, but it also could be something like Maze Mind Tome, which is great card, but not not effective enough against our creature. It's absolutely busted. And I could also mention that you could play it for your spell. You could play 1/1, counter that 1/1 spell for 1 mana, and hope that you will hit something really big and pay no mana for it. You could cast it for free. It's another way how it could be busted. It won't happen. It will not happen again. It will not happen much, but I will definitely. I'm sure that I will see it at someone's stream. Crippling Fear. Choose a creature type. Creatures that aren't of the chosen type get -3/-3 until end of turn. Wow. So imagine you got all the angels. You got all the giants. You got all the elves or berserkers. You got all of those cards, rogues, and you will choose them. It means that almost all, maybe all of creatures of our opponent will die, no matter what, no matter indestructibility, because -3/-3, it's dealing with indestructibility. And all your creatures will survive. It's maybe like extinction event on steroids. It could be really devastating with extinction event in right deck. Great card. Pyre of Heroes. Pay 2 taps, sacrifice a creature. Search your library for a creature card that share a creature type with the sacrificed creature and has converted mana cost equal to 1 plus that creature's converted mana cost. Put that card onto the battlefield and shuffle your library. Activate this ability only anytime you could cast a sorcery. Again, busted card for all the combo decks. I'm pretty sure we will see it much more in Historic, but we could also see it in Standard, like there we still got combo with Storm Herald and be able to find Storm Herald like every turn, like every game. It could be really devastating combo with this card. But it will definitely have place in combo decks in Historic. Coma Cosmos Serpent. This spell can't be countered. At the beginning of each upkeep, create a 3/3 blue serpent creature token named Coma Scolio. Sacrifice another serpent, choose one. Tap target permanent, its activated ability can't be activated this turn. Or Coma Cosmos Serpent gain indestructible until end of turn. Wow. It's pretty expensive cards, but since we got all the ramp and we could play Ugin in turn 5, we could definitely play Coma at turn 5 with all those elves or mana ramps or cultivates. You cannot counter it, and since you don't kill it right after it hits battlefield, you basically are not able to remove it, because in Standard there are no cards as -6/-6. You will always be able to give Coma indestructible, and you could tap some permanent opponent have, which means you will always be able to go through with your 6/6. Amazing busted cards, we will definitely see it in battlefield, and with unstoppable creation of 3/3 serpents plus serpent we got right now in Standard or Historic, you can do absolutely anything and be unstoppable with this card. Since it hit battlefield, it's gonna be game over. That was 15, but I should mention it's like honorable mention of all the pathways we were missing, because they were really important in our decks and we didn't have them. The black-red pathway, the green-blue pathway, Azorius pathway, white-blue, and black-green. Those are colors we really needed, and we got them now. So our decks will be much stronger again. Okay, that's all for today. Hope you enjoyed my selection. Leave a comment if you think I forgot something, but as I told you earlier, the destiny is already written. So, cards that will be played have already been played. If you could saw what I saw, if you understand what I think. Yeah, that's all for today. Subscribe, leave comment, leave like. I will appreciate. Have a magical day or night, whatever, and see you next time. Bye bye.